already closed hundreds of stores across the UK, but now the Marks and Spencer's boss over here in the United Kingdom, Stuart Matchett, is apparently on the warpath with a government minister and, more importantly, his loyal customers who have stood by them in such difficult times. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you today. If you live in the United Kingdom, or indeed you buy things online from this particular brand, they've been running for over 100 plus years. Started out in a market stall up in Leeds in West Yorkshire and literally became one of the staples of the high street. They've seen many big brands off, including British Home Stores, Debenhams, House of Fraser. You could say they're the last man standing. Of course, the quality has gone dramatically down with Marks and Spencer's, whichever way you look at it, and I can tell you this from personal experience, their menswear clothing in particular, their shirts are shoddy. They used to be great when they were made in Great Britain at many different stores, including one up in Wakefield in West Yorkshire. But as ever, cheaper productivity means higher prices and shoddy goods. But they don't really care about the customer, as this particular story that is unfolding really explains, because over here in the very heart of London on Oxford Street they have an iconic store. It's on the corner of Marble Arch, and it was opened way back in the 80s by the Right Honourable British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, who was such a huge fan of Marks and Spencer's. Whenever people came around to 10 Downing Street, she didn't bother with fancy caterers. She would send the staff out and say, just get something tasty and nice from Marks and Spencer's, preferably microwavable too. Mrs. Thatcher didn't waste time, as one can imagine. But you see, the Art Deco store, built in 1929, M&S wanted to pull down and replace it with an office block, hotel, spa, gym and a Marks and Spencer's. Interesting, isn't it? Now, the government secretary, Michael Gove, led the way in stopping this happening. He said it's an iconic building that many people know around the world, and it truly is if you know it or you've seen it while passing through on Oxford Street. It's one of those things that really lends itself to what that wonderful shopping experience is. It would be like pulling down the Selfridges store now and replacing it with a glass-fronted office block. That's the reason why people return back. They feel comfortable and they know their history. However, the boss of Marks and Spencer's, Stuart, has decided he's not happy and they're going to appeal. Now, what's interesting here is he says that by looking at that and redefining the store, they could be bigger, better, brighter, forgetting, of course, to add, and more expensive. But he wants to make sure that he can give London, on London's premier shopping street, Oxford Street, the store it truly deserves, and they're going to appeal. If they lose the appeal, he says he will have to considerably consider their future on London's iconic shopping streets. Got news for you, Stuart. It's not down to you. As ever, you are upholding to the shareholders. I love the way these CEOs, a little bit like Dame Alison Rose from National Westminster Bank and Coutts has found, they think they're running it, but truly, as ever, someone's running them. I'd love to know whether you think this building should be pulled down and replaced with a monstrosity that, of course, His Royal Highness the King is not too keen on and has fought against this terrible architecture for years. Or indeed, should we let the passing of time move on with a brand new look? Let me know in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.